Right, here we go. First one of the new year. Right, Happy New Year everybody. Glad to be back. What I managed to do this morning, I'm just going to move this camera back a wee bit. What I managed to get done this morning, up the pot. Me and Roger went there first thing on this cold and miserable second day of the year. But hope everybody's had a nice holiday, good break. I know we have. We had Christmas Day off. I've been up there every other day apart from that. There's always something to do, whether repairs, building work to be done, and of course I've been potting on a few of the seeds. Some of the spring bedding that I had sown, I've been overwintering the polytunnels, been potting them up. But what I managed to do this morning is to get us starting the strawberries. We've got, if you've been watching my Facebook page, beginning of the week I told you I'd getting the first ones lifted in. We'll give them a couple of days to dry out because of course they've been tipping on their sides for the last few days, and the excess water, and we've had loads of rain up here in the northeast. They've just been running off. So what we did this morning, we got them lifted into the polytunnel, got them all weeded out nice and clean. I gave them a good spray. I made a spray up yesterday, teaspoon of baking soda, teaspoon of Epsom salts, a good dollop of olive oil, anything like that, and a couple of good dollops of washing up liquid. Make it up for a litre spray. If you want 2-3 litres, just double up your mixture. We've done that, took it up, and they're really good soak with that. And now they're hanging up, got all the chains out. They're hanging up in the bottom polytunnel, but I'll show you when we'll go up and we'll finish this video off. But for this afternoon, what I wanted to do is to get started. I've managed to bring the dahlias down. I've got me 12 big dahlia tubers here. And what I did if you remember last year when we boxed them up, I tipped all the compost out, mixed it all up, put an extra couple of handfuls of good sharp sand in, and then put a nice layer in the bottom of the trays. And these are nice deep trays. I had a couple extra, so what I've done, I put them in pots, nice big pots. Now they're sitting in the compost, and just the shoulders above the tuber are sitting proud. So once I start watering them, well, not so much watering as they give them a good spray. And what I did, as I say, last night I made a litre spray of chamomile tea and just let it steep overnight, and then this morning I've given it a good shake up, good squeeze, and then it's into the spray. It's ordinary chamomile tea. It's the first job I like to do, and it's not so much watering them, it's just to put a bit of moisture around the tops of the tubers and washing some of that compost. Just going to open that up a little bit, and just to dampen them off, that's all. Put a bit more pressure in there, I think. That's better. Just to give them a soaking with that, and wash a little bit of compost around the roots where they are, and of course it gives it a bit of protection against any moulds, any funguses, anything like that. There we are. Pleased with that. Now they're on the heat. They're on the heat now. Not too bad, it's only 45 in here. It's only 45 in here, and to me that's just perfect. That's my first job done, that's the dahlias done. Now they'll just sit in this heat bed here for the next couple of weeks, and hopefully by February, late February, we should start and be able to take some cuttings into March. By the time we get them rooted off, March and into April, potted off, and they'll be ready for May planting out. We'll never plant dahlias out any sooner than that up here in the northeast. Middle of May, even into June, first week in June is fine for me. So I'm quite happy I'm just sitting there. It's not too warm in here. It's 46 in here at the moment, which is not too bad, and it's a perfect temperature for me to start on sowing my onions. So I'm going to just gently turn this around away from them. We've got all sorts of bits and cables and wires and everything knocked around the greenhouse. I thought I'd sorted it out, but at the moment I'm still in between what to put where, when and how. So I'm just taking my time. I've got a few plants in here, but my sister actually just ordered from Hayloft Plants. Of course, a frost tender, so everything gets piled into my greenhouse at this time of the year. I've got my fuchsias down here. I cut them back last year. There's a few of the leaves starting to die back on them, but I'm hoping to get some nice fresh growth. Which there we are there, coming on. Just got to keep these leaves out of the way. Some nice fresh cuttings coming on there, and once they start growing, and there's where I've nipped it off at the beginning of last year, and already getting a nice bit of fresh growth there. Take the seed pods off, don't need them, and hopefully in a couple of weeks time, the end of the month, I might be able to start taking some nice cuttings from the fuchsias. That's what it's all about, it's plants for free. Right, okay, so let's crack on. Onions. Now, as I mentioned, if you want to grow onions, easy enough, grow from seed. All you want, a little bit of heat. You can start them off in the house, but what you've got to make sure is you get plenty of light. I always say that. It's not what seed you put in, just make sure you get plenty of light. If you are growing in the house, if you want to go back on some of my videos, my last videos I showed you how to make a light box, just an ordinary cardboard box, lined with foil, and you can put it on your windowsill, and what that'll do is, as the light comes in, it'll hit the back of the box and reflect back on to your seeds, and it'll stop them from going leggy. That's it, just point that. But you have to check on some videos. I think it was last Christmas I made one. I may do one this year. I've got plenty of room now in my greenhouse, so I'll not be sowing anything in the loft this year. So what I did do at the end of last year, I sent away to Harry Houghton over in South Shields, across the water, for some onion seed. Cheers, Harry. It come just before the Christmas day. Now what I'm not going to do, traditionally Boxing Day, is to go down and sow the onions. Far too cold up here, so I'll wait until the new year. They're not going to any shows, just for the garden, just for my own pleasure, for growing them, and this is a perfect time, beginning of January. If you look at some of them online, they're absolutely massive, some of the onions now. These are the lads that's going to be showing them, the big show lads. Nick Brake's got some fantastic plants growing there, great leeks, great onions. As I say, just go on my Facebook page and you'll be able to pick up on all their tips and hints. It's Jeff Foreman on the plot. Send my friends request, and you can get on my Facebook page and you can see all the lads, all the big show lads growing different leeks, onions and anything else. But my way of doing it, quite simple. What I did do, I've already pre-soaked this. I love using this method. Now you can just sow them in pots if you want. Just 9cm pots. You can sow half a dozen to a dozen seed in each of them and then prick them off. But doing it this way, I don't have to prick them off. I've done this way for years and I've always found I've got getting a great onion from them. So the multi-cell trays, my compost is multi-purpose compost. 3 handfuls of that, a handful of good sharp sand and a handful of perlite, and that's a really free draining mixture. What I did this morning when I brought that mixture down, when I brought the chamomile tea down, I also topped my watering can up, fresh water straight out the top, a little bit cold and a little bit warm water mixed in with, and it's been down here all morning, just left to come up temperature of the greenhouse, and I've pre-soaked that. So now all I need to do is 2 fingers, that to you, and press them into the compost. Just take my time, just put nice little depression, easy enough to do. Don't forget to dry your fingers off, because when you're picking the seeds up they'll be sticking with your fingers. So that's the tray sorted. I'll pop that in there. Now I've got a bigger tray there. Now that one's going to be full of red onions that I sent away for. These are the big Showmaster ones. I love my red onions, so that tray is going to be full of them. Exactly the same mixture, but we'll just now that I've got the heat bed up and run, I'll be able to fill this up. So I'll put that there. I'll shift that dahlia. I'll put that tray there, and of course I've got the lid ready. Lid's here all ready to go on. Last thing I need to do that is to do with all my seeds. Now I want to spray on it. I think with my Christmas box, the first thing I want to do is buy myself a new spray. I like to buy myself a new one every year. There we are. It's drained off nicely, and then I've given it a good spray of chamomile tea. So that's, to me, that's set perfect. Next job, onion seed. As I say, these are the Billy Lamb strain from Overwintering. Now I grew these a few years ago. It's actually 4 years ago when I had my accident in the November, and I had already got the seed off Harry. I planted them, I sowed the seed, but I couldn't do anything because it was in plaster. And what I did do, I got Roger just to sow them, just to plant them in the garden when the onions were up. Didn't get any special care, any special treatment. Just stuck them in one of the patches in the garden, and what a fantastic onion we got off them. So this year I'm going to give them a little bit extra treat. I'm going to get a bed, especially prepared for these. The new bed that I built in the greenhouse will be perfect. There's early titties in at the moment, but what we'll do when titties come out, we'll probably put some giant onions in there, and that'll be a first class. But I just tip them out, just a few at a time. There was 100 seed in there. And if you just take it, they're easy enough to hold. You just take your time. Doesn't matter if you get two in, because what you can do, you can split the plants once they come through. Sometimes you get a bit careless and you get 2 or 3 in each hole, but that doesn't make any difference. And what this does do, growing it this way, is it cuts out the sowing at the crook stage. Well, a lot of people swear by that, but as I say, as last year, the year before, I don't like putting off at the crook stage. And when you're sowing them this way, it does without it. You can do without that. You just let these grow on until they get a decent enough size, then you can knock them out of the holes. Come out of these pretty easy. You can knock them out of these and then put them up into a 9cm pot to let them grow on. Now I'm getting them done in about 5 minutes. Yeah, and that's that tray full done. Over the moon with that. Right, so I'll put them on there, and all I'm going to put on here is a handful of perlite. Just a little bit of perlite over the top. Can use your compost if you want. The compost that you've already made up. I love making my own compost up. Done it for years. And as you see, you can always make them a bit stronger if you want, or I like to use a lot of soil in mine. And people keep saying, well, do you not get any diseases or infections? Of course you do. You get lots of molds, lots of viruses. But if you use just a bit of common sense, if you have it nice and clean, a few sprays, and you can get by. No problem. So that's my first set. All I've got to do now is stick a marker in there and mark them. So that's a big onions. That's a Billy Lamb strain from Overwintering. There's my top straight on there, and they can sit nicely on that heat bed. I'll push it up a bit further, and they should go nicely on there. Right, not so much. Turn it around, turn it that way on. That's got plenty of room. There we have it. That's the dahlia sorted. That's my first lot of onions in. Over the moon with that. I've still got half a packet of seed in there, which I'll make up in a minute. I'll do another tray off and get them in. As I say, I've got the big red onions to sow, and I've got some turbo some Globo, which I'll also seed. So I'll get about three lots in. I'm not starting any seed apart from the onions off just yet. I've got the melon house, the new roof put on the melon house. That's all clean out ready, because I will be sowing the pot leeks at the end of this month, into January. Plenty of time for them. But if you've got a little bit of heat on, you can put them in now if you want. But I always find this time of year people are starting to gallop away and trying to get as many seed in as possible. But to me, there's plenty of time. Don't go rushing it. Everything comes. So for the time being, I'm going to finish off down here, and I'll get up the plot and I'll show you how I get on the strawberries, and of course where early tatties are in. As I say, I've got a lot of damage on one of the tunnels with a spring cabbage jar. What I did manage to do, I went up the other day and give them another good spraying. They've had a really tough time of it because the roof's been split all the way along the winter, but they're growing away really strong. So they may be a little bit later this year, but we're not bothered about that because the tomatoes are going in there after them, and I'm certainly not going to be in any hurry to start putting tomato seed in yet. March is quite soon enough for me. As I say, I'm well ahead. I've got loads of building work still to do, but I can do an hour here, an hour there, and in between I'll get a few seeds sown. So that's it for the time being. What I have got down here, what I found in the allotment the other day, was my gladioli pips. And now, first thing I want to do with that is take them upstairs, get them dried out, and then give them a good clean up and get the pips off them. And of course I've got the tubers in also. I've always got something to do. Always got something to be carrying on with. Okay, so I'm going to knock off now, and we'll get at the plot and I'll show you how we're getting on with the strawberries. Okay, see you all soon. Right, well, good afternoon everybody, once again. Welcome back to the plot. On this bitterly cold day, the sun shines out, but it's absolutely freezing. I'm going to start this video off on the 3rd of January, but the only thing I didn't mention in the front was Happy New Year everybody. I know you've had a great Christmas. I've made the best of it, according to a lot of people on Facebook and what comments. As I say, difficult times in the year, we've just had to get by as best we can. But I started this video off just after the New Year, and of course up the northeast here we've had rain, we've had snow, we've had wind, we've had everything thrown at us. So every day that I've tried to get up, I've been postponed and put back. Either jobs come up, I've had work to do down home, trying to get the greenhouse ready down there. That's going fine, tickety boo. It's I've got my little heater going in there. It's averaging around about 45 to 50, which is perfect for me. That's all I need. It is dropping down through the night around about the 40 mark, but that's fine. At the moment all I've got is a few onions, so I'm well pleased with that. Of course, a 100-foot greenhouse. We've been working on this inside for the last couple of weeks, me and Roger. What Roger did, he's filled the top bed up with the early potatoes, and of course they're the Winston. And the bottom greenhouse, the bottom tunnel, that's all done. I'll take you in there before we knock off. I've had a load of work to do in there. Of course, we've sustained a load of damage over the last couple of weeks. We had a couple of ropes on the top of the tunnel to deter the pigeons, and of course the seagulls. We've got a lot of seagulls here, and of course they've come down, and of course the seagulls have been landing on top of the tunnel. I was hoping to get another year out of that, but I'll show you when we'll go in. And what the seagulls landing on the top of the tunnel have created a load of holes with their claws, and of course with all the wet weather we've had, the rain's been absolutely pouring in, and of course we've got chip pathways all the way around, and it's now like a quagmire. So what I've done, I've sent away for a roll of polythene, just a cheap one, 25 metre roll by 4 metre, and what we've managed to do, I'll show you when we'll go in, we've managed to put it under the hoops, where the hoops are, and we've pulled it right along the far end of the tunnel. And what that's doing is, as the rain's coming in, it's hitting this secondary inside cover, and it's just dropping down the sides, which is keeping the main bed, which is it's full of early potatoes, it's keeping that nice and dry, which is the main thing, because what we don't want out waterlogged when the tatties start coming through. You might think it's a bit early for putting your early tatties in, but we always do it in the polytunnels. It's far too early to put them outside. As you can see, you can't even hit the ground outside with a spade. It's absolutely solid. The only thing that's in here, of course, is my canes. I brought them up from the garden last week. That's all the grapevine cuttings I took in December. What I have got here, I've got one black grape that's been sitting. This was in the melon house, and of course I put a new roof on the melon house inside there, so these are going back in there. There's no heat going on in here this year. I have the facilities put one on, but when the onions are big enough to come up, and if I do manage to get a hold of a few leeks, when they're big enough to come up around about the end of February, beginning of March, it's still far too cold up here, so what I might do, I might just put a little paraffin heater either in here or in the melon house, and just to keep a little bit of gentle heat. Everything else I'll be sowing, which I mentioned the other night, busy lizzies, geraniums, and a few petunias. I'll be sowing them down home, but they'll be in the warm greenhouse. I'll sow them probably at the end of this month. Got another fortnight to go yet. I'll like to sow them, say end of January, beginning of February. Is fine enough for me, because we've got a long spring to go through yet. I don't like to get my bedding ready till at least the middle of May, even into the first week in June, especially with dahlias and petunias. They're frost hardy, so the last thing you want to be doing is sticking stuff like out in the garden. But like I say, we're months away yet, so we'll go all through that in the coming videos. But I thought I'd get it this afternoon and get this video finished off, just to let you people know that I'm still around, I'm still here. It's just that we've had one or two things cropping up at home, and the repairs that I've done up here of late, it's unbelievable. But they're keeping me busy, so I'm quite happy. But as you can see, it's we've got 8 hanger baskets through there in the 100-foot greenhouse. They're all up, and that's the Albion strawberry. And we'll manage to put the first of the strawberries in the bottom polytunnel, which are Albion strawberries. And then we've got some Singer Giganta in buckets, and we've got some Albion, the parent plants, which are in buckets, which will come in about the middle of February. I'll show you that when we get onto the bottom tunnel. I've just built a new bench down there, so that's perfect for me. But we'll pop in next door, and I'll show you how we're getting on. Right, well, here we are in the main tunnel. It's looking pretty desolate at the moment, but no doubt we're getting all ready for the oncoming ones. As I say, I've been busy with me as well. This is a bench we built at the back end of last year. It's 14 foot by 4 foot, and we've just got a bit of polythene on there, just covering, because, as you know, this one, see by the water on there, was sustaining a load of damage to this one. We've got a rip running right along the top, and the only thing that's holding the polythene together is that we've got some debris netting running right along the top, which is just holding that polythene together. Now this is going to have to stop like this until March, April. That's when I'll send away for a new roll of polythene. It costs a couple of £100, but it's well worth it if we get 5 years out of it. For this size polytunnel, cheapest chips. When you break it down into weeks, it's a couple of £100 a week, if that. As I say, you can't buy a decent cup of coffee for that, so I'm over the moon with that. That's me. This is a new bench I built. Now in here we've got a couple of rows of Jazzy. I think Roger, we had a few Jazzy left from the bottom tunnel. I think Roger's just put a couple of rows in there. But what I intend to do with this is to, once these Jazzy come out in the end of May, is to put some big giant onions in here. It's only its first year bed, it's still sinking down, so the teetees are going to do the job for us. They're going to break it up, and then what we'll do in the May, when we take the teetees out, I'll take a reading, put my meter in, and see what the soil's reading, and I'll just add whatever I need accordingly, either lime, bit of bone meal, bloodfish and bone, just to bring the count up. I want it to out around about 6 to 6.5 for my onions, and I'll be over the moon with that. And I think I'll get three good rows in there, one down the centre and one the other side. 3 nice big rows of onions. Now this is just a temporary fix. I've got my sheeting on here, and what I intend down on here is to put the 2 rows. I've got 24 Cambridge Favourite strawberries I sent away for last year. Now they're only in 9-inch pots, and they'll sit quite happy on there. We'll get a bit of a crop from them. I'm not over worried about that. I don't want a big crop. What I want the runners, and the runners are great for the baskets for next year. although I've got the Albion, I'm quite pleased with the Albion, the way they're growing. I was a bit disappointed in them last year when I first got them, but I persevered with them, the way I like to grow the strawberries. And the ones in the baskets now, they're looking first class, and of course I've got them sitting outside in the tubs of other plants, which will come in here at about second week in February. We don't want all strawberries at once, we want them spaced out over at least 6 to 8 weeks, over 2 months. If you get them all together, you get a glut, and of course it's a waste of time. So by bringing them in a bit at a time, the ones down there were in just before the new year. I think it was about the 28th of December we put them in, and the ones in here I've just put them in yesterday, so that's a fortnight, 3 weeks behind. And then them ones in the pots will go in another 3 weeks, which will take it to the, you can say, probably middle of February. I'll bring them ones in, and then I've still got the Cambridge Favourites, which I'll leave till about the end of February, and they'll come in here just for an early flower, and then hopefully we'll get some fantastic runners off them. And then we can take this bench down, it's only staging, but we can take this bench down, and then it'll leave plenty of lighting for the onions. That's the plan for in here. But at the moment, as I say, these pathways are chippings, and they're just like mud. They're just like a farmer's field. There's been that much water coming in here, unbelievable. But as I say, the spring cabbages are putting up a great fight. They're not they're not doing any harm. As you can see over the other side there, they're still growing away great. Some nice spring cabbage here, and hopefully we'll get a first class crop out of them. Now these benches here will be full of bedding in a couple of weeks time, a couple of months time I should say. And the grapevines are completely bare now. They've been cleaned down. We'll give them a good spraying at the end of last year. I told you what the spray was, a little bit of jizz fluid and a bit of soapy water, and they're lovely and clean now, and they've all been cut back. There's a couple of bits of stalk and that on these two runners here, but no doubt I'll get that sorted out later. But that's in here for the time being, so what we're going to do, I'm going to pop in a bottom tunnel and I'll show you the progress we're making in there, okay? Okay, right, well here we are. We're getting a bit cramped at the moment because we're absolutely chocker here. We've got 24 hanging baskets in here, and of course these are all the Albion strawberries. Absolutely fantastic. Well, the bed down below, the bed is all filled. We have 3 rows of jazzy potatoes in there, and that's spot on, that all nice and clean. And over the far end, a couple of lads posted on Facebook the other day want to know about our sweet peas. Well, if you're putting sweet peas in, really you can still put them in now, but you don't need any heat for these. These were my autumn ones that I sowed, and of course I can always leave mine till around about November time. I never like to sow many earlier than that, but at the moment they're going first class. Now them pots are frozen, believe it or not. That just shows how cold it is in here. I'll just put that in there. I'll just show you. Them pots are absolutely frozen, and they're looking as fresh as a daisy, nice and clean. I weeded them out the other day, just went along, took a few of the weeds out, because this is my own compost. But to me, they're growing absolutely fantastic, and that's just the way I like them. There's 4 in that pot. Sometimes I sow 3 or 4 seeds in a pot, and this is of course a pint pot. And by March, late March, actually the roots are at the bottom there now. That's why I like to use a pint pot, because this pot will be absolutely filled with root come March time, and it'll be perfect for planting out. I've got 4 trayfuls over the moon of them, champion. I've just sowed a few shallots in there that I've got to make next door. I put them in last week just to give myself an early crop. But the main thing has been getting these strawberries sorted out. I'm just going to lift this up and try and go down as easy as I can. Now if you can see on the top here, there's what problem there. All the water running off. This is a secondary cover what I've put on here. I had to put that cover on there. We've let it through the tubes up a height, so what it's doing is stopping any water from dropping down into the bed. But you can see by this pathway here, it's absolutely soaked. The seagulls have done a first class job. The little buggers, they've put holes all the way along the top of the polytunnel, and of course now while we're here we're going to suffer the consequences. But yeah, the baskets are fine. I'm over the moon with them. Got these down, and of course these are the Albion strawberry that I persevered with last year, and they're absolutely fantastic. Oh, you've just got to check, keep checking if you get any leaves where they've been eaten away. Just check underneath, make sure there's no bugs. The first thing I did last week when we cleaned these up, we cleaned the baskets up, the first thing I did, I made this spray up. Just a baking soda spray with a bit of Epsom salt in, a bit of olive oil, and a couple of good drops of washing up liquid. Mix it all together and give them a good spray with that, and that just gives them any protection. They're absolutely first class. They're growing away great, and they're the first of our strawberries that have been brought in. As I say, these were brought in just before the new year, and already there's new growth coming from the crowns. It's absolutely, it must have been -2 in here this morning in the Polytunnel, but they're fine. What I did manage to do, I managed to get Bellis daisy and that. This is the last of the spring bedding I mentioned in the last programme. I've got all these done. There's foxgloves, and these are the ones I like to overwinter. They're actually these plants. I grew them later on in the year, and I think they get a much better chance if you sow them late and you just overwinter them. Now, I've done this for years, especially with these with foxgloves. I sow them around about September, October time, and they're only small, and then they get pricked off about the end of November into December. And then what I did a couple of weeks ago, just after the new year there, I potted them up again, and they're in the final pots. I know you might think it's a lot of potting off to do just for a few outdoor plants, but believe you me, by the time that's ready to plant out in April, there'll be a first class root, be a massive, be full of root, and of course they're a great, you get them into the garden and they'll gallop away them, and you'll get years of satisfaction up with them. Same with the polyanthus. As I say, there's 2 good tradefuls of there. There's some lovely big polyanthus here. A lot of people like to have theirs planted in the garden now, but of course with the way the weather's going at the moment, there's just nothing growing. Everything's getting hammered. But this is one of the jobs I made sure we got done. Now, me and Roger struggled with it the other day, but had a bit of a laugh. Both were on ladders trying to get the polythene hooked under the pipes, under the hoops, but we managed to get it done anyway. And what it's done, it's covered the whole bed. So the whole bed is now completely covered, and as I say, with the rain dropping through the roof, with the holes in the roof, it's just going to run down the sides. The only trouble is now, our pathways are getting soaked. There's only wood chips on here, and it's just completely mud. But no doubt when it dries out in the springtime, we'll get a few new bags of chips put on there. Oh, that's it. I'm great. I'm over the moon with that. We're getting it watertight. As I say, the main bed here, it's full with jazzy tatties, so we don't want any excess water on here, especially with it being cold. That'll start freezing. But I have got some of the other strawberries ready to bring in soon. Just show you this one. It's just sitting outside on a bench. I'll just show you the difference. Now this is the same strawberry, and that's ice on the bottom there. This is one of the mother plants, and this is Albion. Now all these Albion in here, I'll persevere with them for another year just to make sure we get a decent crop out of them. Now these are just sitting outside in all weathers, and of course you're starting to get a few of the leaves brown enough, and all I like to do on a good day, now that's absolutely frozen solid that, but they're still growing away really well. And all I like to do is just take the dead leaves off every now and again, just go around and pull them off. It's a worthwhile job, and it just stops any diseases building up. Just make sure you bin all the dead leaves as I say, that's absolutely frozen. That's a first class plant, that. Now I've got a dozen of these, and this is where we took all our cuttings off last year for the baskets. And we'll get another 2 out of this. They're sitting here. I had fresh compost in November. I took them all out and put them into nice fresh compost when these come out of the baskets. So they'll stop in here for another 2 years now. After this year, I'll not take so many runners off these because these are the second year plants. The runners I'll take off these, the ones that's in the baskets, because first year runners always give a fantastic crop of nice young runners. So always make sure if you're taking runners, take them off the first year plants, and believe you me, you'll get a much stronger plant out of them. But we'll get some nice fruit out for them. As I say, they'll not be brought inside until about middle of February. So it's given we've started bringing strawberries in from December right through to February. So what'll happen when the first ones will start fruiting, and hopefully mid-April, and these will carry on right through to May and June, the ones at the back. Now we have got a few spare ones out there I can leave outside and just get a later crop again. But it's in stages. My strawberries always come inside in stages. Yeah, the baskets, pots, or whatever, and we'll just take our time with them, like I say, and we'll get a first class crop. But that's the state of play for the strawberries. All the baskets done. Please just punch with them, but and of course the polythene up and give them a little bit of protection from the rain. No doubt next year we'll change this cover, because I don't want to leave this interior cover in. It's opaque, but it is letting quite a bit of light through. The sun's just going down in the west there, but it's quite nice. Yeah, I know I'm freezing cold here, but it's quite pleasant in here, working in here, and this is where I've been doing a lot of the repairs. I've had to repair some of the tunnel mounts, some of the staging, which I've done, repaired them, so everything's really solid in here now. I've got a bit of fresh polythene put along these sides. That done once the weather warms up a little bit. As you can see, the wind's starting to pick up again this afternoon. That's what I was worried about. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knock off and get myself way down home, and hopefully get this video online tonight. But I thought I'd finish off today and let you know what we've been up to. As far as planting's concerned, well, it's going to wait until next week. We're nearing. Once we're near the end of January, I'll start thinking about getting some of my plants in. I've got a few bits and pieces that I saved, the calendulas that I saved last year. I've got a packet full of them sitting down home, so I might sow them next week, because they'll grow away nice and slowly, just in the cold greenhouse here, in the melon house. Put them in here. I'll sow them, and I've got the pot leeks to sow. I'll get the pot leeks sown. They can go in there, just in the cold melon house. No extra heat on, and they'll just tick away nice and slowly. I'll wait until next week. I'll get them soon, so that'll be the first of our seeds to get in. I know I've started with the onions, but I've been going through my seed packets. I've got loads of stuff there to sow, but I'm just going to be taking my time with it. I might sow a few parsnips next month in one of the big tanks. We've got the lettuce in. Take the lettuce out. I might try and sow a few early parsnips in there, but we'll see. I'm not going to be in any hurry whatsoever this year. I'm just going to take my time, but I'll take you through it week by week. Hopefully you can get time to get sorted out and get a video made each week for you, and just to keep you updated on what we're doing. But I'm really pleased we're getting this tunnel sorted. The big one there, what we'll do, we'll wait until March, April. I'll order the new cover for that. It'll either be all Plus or Northern Polytunnels. I'll go through them and see what the difference is. One of them you pay no real charge, but the other one's a little bit higher, so I think it balances itself out really. Depending on what quality products you get, you know. I want 1,000 gauge for that. So we'll have a look in the catalogue. Maybe it's next month, back in the next month, get it ordered, and hopefully in April, if the weather's calmed down, it's warmed up a bit, we'll get a new cover put on. But I'll make a video of that. I'll show you how we'll get on with that. But for the time being, I'm going to pop next door. I'm going to get them grapevine cuttings brought into the melon house, because that's all nice and clean now. I've got a new roof on there, so I'm pleased with that. And I can start sowing, as I say, the leek seed that into there, maybe just next week or the week after. But I'll keep you updated on the videos. Absolutely nothing going on outside at the moment. The chopped onions are fine up the top end, they're nice and clean. Roger weeded them out there end of December there, so they're perfect, they're just sitting there. Sweet peas are taken away, tickety boo, and of course the strawberries are done. What more can you ask for? Well, the first ones are done anyway. I'll have you be back outside because there's no way he's stopping in here. It's too warm for him in here. He can go outside with his mates outside and sit there for another 4 or 5 weeks yet. But I'm pleased. As I say, if you want to keep updated, if you can't wait for the video and you want to keep updated on what, well, get one more on my Facebook page. It's Jeff Foreman on the Plot, as I mentioned in the early one. Send me a friend's request and you can get signed up onto our and you can keep in touch with through that. I'm on most nights on the computer answering questions and whatnot. But if you've got your strawberries inside, and then you should start thawing out in the next couple of weeks. No water whatsoever is going on these for at least a month. They were really soaked when I brought them in. They had been tilted on the side, but they were really soaked, so now there's a chance for them to dry out. And the first thing I'll be doing to them is in the beginning of February I'll put a spoonful of sulphate of potash around them, because by then they should be thawed out well enough and they'll be ready to start coming into growth. The fruit buds will be starting to push out. You'll be getting new growth on the top, which is coming on now. So we'll put a bit of sulphate of potash on them in February, and that'll be their first feed, and that's all they'll get. They might get a bit of tomato feed in the summertime when the fruit's on them. If I think they're needing a bit of extra food, I'll put a bit extra on them. A bit of bloodfish and bone. I like to say it's just a bit tomerite. I can use I might give them a drink of nettle juice. I've got a barrel of nettle juice down there. I might use a bit of that on them. It's full of nitrogen, so it's going to give them a really good boost. But I'll keep you updated on that as we go through the growing season. But for the time being, I want to get this strawberry hide back outside where it belongs. And as I say, just keep you updated what we've been doing in the polytunnels. I'll see you all again, maybe it's in a week's time, hopefully. If I get to start my leeks and that off, I'll make a small video on that, and I'll show you how the onions are coming on down home. Okay, so for the time being, I'm going to knock off, get myself way down home, and I'll see you all again in a week's time. Okay, bye for now.